Hello and welcome to a channel update for June. So, it's been a while since we've done a channel update, and basically that's because I've been trying to think of what we're doing with the channel. It's been a little bit of some longer series which have been going on for a while, and I wanted to work out what exactly I wanted to do going forward once those series end. Now, obviously the Radical and Move On series, if it continues on its current course, is never going to end, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, what are we going to do? Well, I think the balance of four shows seems to be pretty good. Like 4 different series. We have the Zany Zoroastrians right now, which is a CK2 series, which has just started, and it's focusing on a little bit more of the smaller side, and most importantly, it has a goal, unlike the Radical Move On series, which we'll get to in a second. And basically, here's my pitch for you. Zoroastrians, they're the meme religion in CK2. It's all about marrying your sister, marrying your mother, marrying your father, marrying your brother, all that sort of stuff. It's a weird thing, right? The religion is weird. So, that's my pitch for the series. Also, we're playing a Count who is all the way underneath a different religion who doesn't like him. So, it's going to be difficult. And our goal of the series is to rise up, create our own empire, and declare restore the priesthood, all that sort of good stuff. Not sure how we're going to do with that, but you know, that's our goal. Anyway, move on to the Radical Move On series. It's a series which has gone on too long, and most importantly, I know why. It's gone on for so long because it has no goal, which has turned into the fact, basically every CK2 game turns into this if you have no goal. We're painting the map our color. We've done a very good job so far. Most of the map is our color. Almost done, one way or another. I mean, the game ends in about 70 years game time, which means that I think we've done about 600 years game time so far. So, at the very least, we can say that there's probably only a maximum of 20 to 30 episodes left. Hopefully, it's like 10 episodes, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, still enjoying it. It's still a lot of fun. It's basically a world conquest series at this point, so if you want to see one of those, that's where you need to go. Next one I'm going to talk about is our third slot, which is the 6:30 BST slot, in case you're wondering. It's Baba Is You right now. A series I didn't really expect to be going on for a while, but it got more difficult. Let's just put it that way. The puzzles are fun. It's something a little bit different, something just a little bit more chill to play. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to do more puzzle games. I suspect the answer is no, because the main issue I've ran into with puzzle games is that they're very difficult. Well, unless you know the answer, in which case they're very easy. I guess it describes a lot of things, but what I'm meaning is there's not a lot I can add to it beyond like, I don't know what the answer is right now. Here's what I'm trying. There's no real, there's not a lot more to talk about beyond that, which kind of limits the conversation flow a little bit, but you know, it's fun. What I'm thinking about doing after that, and this is where I want feedback and all that sort of good stuff, is I'm thinking about maybe doing another RPG series, because right now, I quite like doing Knights of the Old Republic, but there are a lot of other RPGs that I'm wanting to play right now. There's a lot of other stuff. There's a lot of CRPGs, there's a lot of DLC for things that I previously played that I want to catch up on. There's episodes for Life is Strange that I want to catch up on, so there's a whole bunch of stuff which would fit perfectly into that slot, and then that would also work out better, because once all that stuff's finished, hopefully E3 is going to be finished, and then we'll have some release dates for some of this stuff which should be coming out this year. I have heard that Cyberpunk may not be coming out this year, but Outer Worlds, there's still a chance, and I did hear, well, by hear I mean there was an email in my inbox from the Paradox forum newsletter that said new grand strategy at PDXCon, being announced there. So that sounds like that could be a lot of fun, depending. I think that's in October. I could be completely wrong there, but it'd be interesting to see what they come out with. Talking of Paradox games and grand strategies and new releases, there's Imperator Rome and it's nowhere to be seen. What's up with that? Well, I did say it in the end of the Imperator Rome series, but basically they're doing huge changes to the game. They just released a timeline for what they're doing in the game, how they're going to change it over the next year, and they are completely changing fundamental systems of the game. And right now, what I'm looking at is kind of similar to when I first played Darkest Dungeon. I didn't play it on the channel, but when I first played it in early access, when it first came out, I was like, wow, this is pretty fun. But I want to play the finished version of it. I want to play it when it releases so that I don't have this kind of mixed feeling about it, so I'm not playing it with a lack of content, all that sort of stuff. It's kind of the exact same with Imperator, because although it's fully released, it's not done. It's not even close to being done. I reckon that we're going to have what I would have expected release Imperator to be in about a year's time when they release the DLC. And I'm excited to play that version of the game. Right now, you know, it's alright, it's fun, but it could be better. And that's why we're not playing Imperator right now. It's kind of the same with Hearts of Iron. That's why that got ditched, because, you know, I want to see what they were going to do with it, because they were going to make lots of changes. And they have made lots of changes, and I'm less interested in it now. And then we've got Stellaris, where they've done this, it was the exact same thing. They've made lots of changes. Now I'm more interested in Stellaris. I may go back to it at some point, but it's this kind of thing with Paradox games where you got to jump in at the right moment. Same with EU4, actually. EU4, I dropped out for a little bit, came back. It was still fun, but it's gonna maybe come back at some point, or maybe not come back. I don't know. They've changed the game in a lot of ways, and there's a lot of catching up to do. So right now, we're sticking with CK2. Also, the reason why I didn't start another CK2 modded series while we're on that whole bunch of things is because, well, basically, they're updating CK2, like, a lot, which usually isn't an issue. I'm very happy with it. The only reason it's an issue is because each time they update it, it breaks the mods. And, well, if it breaks the mods, then I have to either roll back the game or not play the mod. So what I'm doing right now, just leaving it a little bit, waiting for the dust to settle. There have been some theories, and I'm not entirely sure I've subscribed to them, but the theory may be that they're doing all these free updates to CK2 because they're just getting rid of their backlog, as in getting rid of any content they currently have remaining for CK2 that's unreleased, or just not, like, anything that they're done with, basically. And they're just pushing it to the side and going, hey, we're done with that, and then they're going to announce CK3 at PDXCon. That's a theory. I'm not sure I entirely agree with it. I don't think it seems likely. I would think, given how well Holy Fury did, at least in my eyes, compared to something like Imperator, I think they're going to stick on CK2. Like, I think Holy Fury did amazingly for DLC. I could be wrong. I don't have their sales numbers. Maybe it didn't do very well in sales, but at least looking at, like, video views for people's Holy Fury series versus people's Imperator series, like, I think, at least anecdotally, yeah, something like that, anyway, I think that Holy Fury did much, much better. So, I don't know what that says, but to me it says, potentially, that CK2 still has a much bigger following than anything new they could release. Although, if they release CK3, in theory, the people who play CK2 play CK3. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, moving on from that, we have some other stuff. We have Divinity Original Sin 2. So, this is a series which I think was best described by the person I'm doing it with as, it's more like this normal bit is to have Divinity not on the channel, and then it's a little surprise when it's on the channel. And right now, there's a lot of little surprises with it, because I've got uploaded and scheduled to June the 15th right now, and we have another 4 hours of video, although I think I'm going to cut out the last half hour because there were some technical issues which didn't really help with a certain fight we were doing. But that means that we're probably looking at enough Divinity content to last us until July, which is fantastic news. It's every second day it comes out, just so that it's spread out a little bit more, so we have a little bit more time to record it. But yeah, it's going well. We've moved firmly into content that I haven't played before, which is a lot of fun because it's finally something new in Divinity, and it's starting to open up, and there's a whole bunch of new stuff, and it is really, really good. Just in case you hadn't tried it out and you wanted to jump back in, you can see when we dropped into the new act, because I changed the what's it called, the thumbnail when we moved into the new act. So if you only want to see new stuff, when the latest thumbnail change should be mostly new stuff from that point on. Anyway, What else? Pillars of Eternity DLC. I've started recording it. It has been a little bit since I went back to it, but my plan for that was to kind of record it, and then when Babo Is You finishes, I just release the series because I have it. And then there's 2 DLCs, I think. I'm currently doing Seeker, Slayer, Survivor, I think it is, which is apparently a combat arena type DLC. And then there's the final DLC, which is a little bit more story based and apparently very, very, very difficult in terms of combat. So that should be interesting after a long time not played, but you know, that's part of the fun, isn't it? Also, I don't have it on the list, but you know what? This is a malleable list, so let's just go in here. Pathfinder Kingmaker DLC / enhanced game ? So, what's up with that? I can also set a priority on it. See, that's priority 1. Moving it up here. It's not part of Cyberpunk though. Right. So, why have I put this in here? Well, Pathfinder Kingmaker, as last DLC releases not that far from now. I think it releases in June actually. Which means it will be this month. But they also are releasing an enhanced version of the game. Now, that is interesting. I could maybe be persuaded to play the game again. However, the game is really long. This is a kind of 50-50 on me. Well, when I say 50-50, I'm like 80% gonna... Let's say 95% gonna play the new DLC. 25-30% gonna do another playthrough. But I'm very interested to see what people think about that. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Or would you prefer just to watch something new that hasn't been on the channel before? I don't know, maybe. I've kind of been feeling like playing a JRPG at some point, but I don't know which one. The problem with JRPGs is once you start them, you're thoroughly committed because they are long. Anyway, that aside. Right. Next one down here is what I've now renamed to read comments. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, basically, I've stopped replying to every comment. You may have noticed, I replied to a whole bunch, and then I'm just like, there's too many. Because I reply to, say, 5 comments in, say, 20 minutes, right? There's at the very least, very likely to be another 1 comment, but there might be another 5 comments in that 20 minutes. So it means that all my time is now spent doing comments, which is great. It's fantastic. I love the feedback. I love all of the putting in the videos. I like the back and forth. You know, I think that's great. However, it is impractical now to go and reply to all the comments. I'm replying to the odd one here and there, but most comments I'm just sticking a like on it and going, that's good. Apologies, but it's a necessary change. And actually it seems to be quite good, because when I don't reply to everything, it seems that people start speaking to each other, which gets a little bit more of a community going, and that's cool. The Discord is still going, talk about community stuff. I don't actively, you know, look at it every day, but there's occasionally someone will post, there'll be a little back and forth again, so if you ever feel like you want another place to just come and contact me and say hello, there's somewhere. There's also Twitter as well, which is of course the same name as the channel. Talking about the channel, you see I'm moving this all back in, the channel art has been updated. It no longer says that I'm playing Skyrim and Pillars of Eternity 1. Instead, it just has my name. And it has a few new series things on it, and the weird dragon thing, or sea serpenty thing, now has some wings on it, which is, you know, the full extent of my graphical design, but also should hopefully stop questions like, what's that weird looking thing, or like weird looking appendage, I think I've heard it described coming off the A. It's now got wings. It's a dragon, you know, in case you hadn't realized that. It was from the Ironborn series that we did ages ago, or some kind of sea serpenty thing, but we did it from the Ironborn series, the Ironborn roleplay series, which had a lot of custom courtiers in it for Game of Thrones mod. That's where that originally came from, and, you know, it's kind of been a little bit updated since then. Anyway, thought that'd be cool. Apart from that, that's about it, really. If you've got anything else you'd like to add, or any other things you'd like to tell me, or shout at me about, or let me know, please let me know. And also tell me what you think of the current series and the current balance and what you want to see on the channel, because it does, you know, really help in terms of getting my mind around what you want to see. And it also helps in terms of, you know, well, again, like, I'm not entirely sure what's going to be on the channel in the future right now. Beyond, like, the CK2 stuff, there's probably going to be 2 CK2 series going most of the time. I don't think there's going to be any more than 2 Paradox games at once, unless I've got a particular urge to play something. But, like, I think there's probably going to be, most of the time, it's going to be 2 CK2 series. What I would like to do is 1 vanilla series, as in 1 plain CK2 no mods, and 1 modded series right now, because there's a lot of new, like, base game stuff for CK2, which I want to try out. And I suspect after we finish the Radical Move-On series, we're going to do another Game of Thrones mod series, because it's likely to be updated for whatever new free patches come out. Also, there have been a lot of comments saying, can you do another Game of Thrones mod series? And I'm thinking, not right now, but once the patches calm down, then we can do it. So, that's the plan. Anyway, thank you for watching and for sticking with it. I do have a little bit of a cold, in case you were wondering. It's, probably going to stop recording for a day or 2, but hopefully I have enough backlog to cover all of that. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.